Hello, welcome to Raven Light Healing Meditations. I'm Brenna, and this is my 100-day Sit for Peace Meditation Challenge. And today is day 35. So let's practice. First, we get the body into position. Back straight. Head facing forward. Comfortable position for your hands. Close your eyes. And then we get the mind into position. We just focus on the breath. We don't need to look far because the breath is right here, right now. And the next step is to practice maintaining a constant and steady awareness of the present moment. Notice if the mind is wandering off, and practice bringing it back to the breath. The practice of meditation is like going into a dark room from the bright sunshine outside. When we first walk into a dark room, we can't see anything. Our eyes are blinded from the bright sunlight outside. But if we stay in the room and allow the eyes to adjust, then we begin to see what is in the room. And if we stay long enough, we will realize that the room is not dark at all. It was our eyes that were blinded and couldn't see. Meditation is the same. At first, when we begin to practice mindfulness with breathing, we can't see anything, and we think nothing is happening. We feel restless, bored, anxious, distressed, like the mind is having withdrawals, because the mind is accustomed to the bright ting of the emotions and the intellect. But if we wait until the eyes of the heart adjust, we will see many things in the heart. Meditation has the power to solve all the problems of the world. Meditation has the power to bring personal happiness to the individual and to achieve world peace. The human race is facing tremendous challenges, unprecedented in the history of the world. People live in terribly distressful, brutalizing, and dehumanizing conditions. And despite modern progress in material well-being, suffering seems to increase. Now is a time of cataclysms, environmental devastation, extinction of species, clash of civilians with wars and genocides, globalization of militant materialism, out of control technology, atomic weapons, human trafficking, slavery, and the list could go on. Young people face the future with anxiety or dread, and many just go numb in denial or self-medicate with drugs or alcohol or other intoxicants like eating and shopping. We now live in the postmodern age, the new world order. It is the end of the world as we know it. Something new is coming. What kind of world will the future bring? What will be the character of the new world order? Will it be the expansion and intensification of the present world order of greed, anger, hatred, and ignorance? Or will it be a time of peace, security, well-being, and sustainability? The choice is in our hands. If we keep on the path we're on, we're going to end up where we're headed. If we want to end up in a different place, then we need to go a different direction. Through meditation, we can have an inward transformation, an awakening that will help us see new directions, alternative future to the one we're facing now. Meditators can help show the world a way to meet the challenges bearing down upon us with increasing urgency. All the suffering of the world arises out of ignorance, not understanding the nature of reality, not seeing clearly. And in our ignorance, we cultivate passions of greed and hatred. When greed and hatred are expressed in the organized social realm, greed is manifested as materialist consumer culture. Hatred becomes manifest as militarism and war. The more desire we have, the faster we destroy the earth. Today, the world is full of greed, hatred, and ignorance. A consumer culture based on greed and ever-increasing consumption of products. The modern civilizations define us as consumers. I looked up the word to consume in the dictionary and discovered that it means to completely annihilate, to utterly destroy. Are we destroyers? Is our greed, our consumption, destroying the earth? Is our greed and consumption leading us into angry and violent conflicts with other cultures and nations? Globalization means the rapid and aggressive expansion and intensification of this militaristic consumer culture to every region of the globe. This process has been underway for a long time. The expansion of the free market of materialistic consumer culture. We are living in the last days of modern materialism. Well, what will come next? I heard a physicist on National Public Radio discussing Werner Heisenberg and quantum theory. And he said the real meaning of quantum theory is that the age of materialism is over. The old scientific understanding of the world as a machine or dead matter of natural resources available for our exploitation and consumption is no longer workable. The earth, the universe, is alive and mysterious. The mind pervades the universe. There are many dimensions beyond what we can perceive with the senses. The second lesson of quantum theory, he said, is that the human person is part of the universe, connected to everything. The human person is not a detached observer of the material universe. Consciousness and mind are interactive with the material, phenomenal universe. Everything arises from an ocean of mind. All that we are arises from the mind. With the mind, we create the world. If we think and act with unskillful mind, full of greed, hatred, and ignorance, then suffering will arise in the world. If we act with a skillful mind, generosity, compassion, and understanding, then happiness will arise in the world. What kind of world will the future bring? It's up to us to create that world. And meditators can show us the way. Meditation has the power to bring us personal happiness. Happiness comes from internal conditions, from within, and not from external conditions outside of ourselves. A person can be rich, famous, powerful, and still very unhappy, because happiness does not come from these sources. In order to be happy in life, we must find a basis of deep internal happiness that will endure even during times of great difficulty and pain. Because indeed, life will bring difficulty and pain. What is happiness? What is the source of happiness? Happiness is a mind full of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and peace. Happiness is in the mind. The heart of a spiritual practice is to cherish living beings, to love and care for and protect and cultivate living beings. Humans, as well as animals, forests, and the entire web of life. Happiness is a heart filled with love and compassion. Meditation practice gives us the tools for developing enlightened mind states of love, compassion, and understanding. We attain happiness and fulfillment because when we respond to the world with love and compassion, we are fulfilling the meaning of life. When we benefit others, we experience happiness. This is a surprising discovery in consumer culture. We have been conditioned to believe that happiness comes from attaining the objects of desire. We have been conditioned to believe that the purpose of life is to make a lot of money and have success, status, be famous, popular, and powerful. We have been conditioned to think that happiness comes from enjoying ourselves through music, sex, food, vacations, and other luxuries. But when you think from a deathbed perspective, remind yourself, what parts of your life would you cherish the most? The items you have, the money, the car, the house, the family, the friendships, the moments of deep and powerful connection. At the end of our life, what are the things that we will cherish? The purpose of life is to benefit all living beings, to nurture and care for and protect life. The more we invest our time, energy, and resources into caring for people and other living things, the more meaningful and fulfilling our lives become. The external, material conditions of our lives are largely irrelevant to the attainment of happiness. And meditation can help us see what is really important in life today and how to respond to life with understanding day by day. It's been said that all the suffering in the world arises out of greed, hatred, and ignorance. War is the manifestation of hatred. War is fear, anger, and hatred fully developed, fully realized in the world. To end war and achieve world peace, we must remove the cause of war. The fear, resentment, anger, and hatred that live in the individual mind. Meditation practice can help with this. War is the realization and manifestation of anger and hatred, the unwholesome mind state that many ancient enlightened masters have warned us about. Nuclear weapons, the arms race. Wars don't just happen accidentally. And they aren't just inevitable by some predestined force of nature. Nuclear bombs and other weapons arose out of the meditations of human hearts as they sat in rooms watering the seeds of fear and hatred until the visions of weapons and war appeared in their minds and then eventually became fully realized in the material world. Likewise, world peace will arise out of the visions of humans sitting in quiet rooms, watering the seeds of understanding, compassion, and courage until the fear, anger, and hatred are dispelled and neutralized. One day, we will see that we cannot kill, bomb, and torture our way to peace. It's been said that in this world, hatred has never overcome hatred. Only love can overcome hatred. This is the law the universe, ancient and inexhaustible. In meditation, we learn how to loosen the knots of fear, anger, and resentments until they eventually dissolve. And then we can see that our enemy or opponent is only a human being, just like us. They are individuals who only want to be happy and don't want to suffer. With the eyes of loving kindness and compassion, we begin to see humanity in the so-called enemy. We see their darling little children, their beloved grandmothers and grandfathers, their handsome young sons and graceful daughters. We see them working in their fields, their gardens, or the factories. We hear them making music and art and worshiping in their temple. And when we see that they are human, just like us, we no longer wish to harm them. In meditation, we find the inner composure and awareness to listen deeply to our enemies and hear their fears and grievances. And with the understanding gained from the insight, we can begin to understand the conditions that have produced the conflict, and we can see ways to calm the fear, to neutralize the angers and resentments, and address the grievances, and thereby change the conditions that have produced the aggression and the war. This is wisdom and compassion in action. meditation practice also produces deep insight into the philosophy of conditioned origination or mutual arisal. These are the conditions that produce phenomena. We see that everything that happens in the world is produced by conditions and causes. We learn to pay more attention to the conditions and causes. Because if we want to change something, we must change the conditions that produce it. This is what is meant by the words wisdom and understanding. If we apply conditioned origination to the problems of war, we see that we can look deeply and understand the conditions that produce conflict and create war. And then we can change those conditions, and war will not appear. The key is to remove or transform the conditions that produce fear, anger, and hatred in the minds of our enemies. And the minds of ourselves. If there is no anger, fear, and hatred in our minds, then we will have no desire to go to war. In fact, we will no longer be enemies. We will be friends. This is the meaning of nonviolence that Gandhi was talking about when he said, in meditation practice, we also gain the insight of interbeing, that everything is connected, everything is interrelated, everything is dependent on everything else. Therefore, other people, even our supposed enemies, are not really separate from us, but are somehow deeply connected to us in a very deep and real way. It feels very important for the people, especially those of our country, to learn about meditation, how to calm the mind and develop an evolved consciousness. This country has a lot of power, a lot of influence. How much wisdom do we have? Inner peace is a transformative power in the world. We need inner peace to create social peace, and we must use meditation to reach this inner peace. Personal transformation is the key for social transformation. And inner peace is the key to world peace. We must learn to silence our minds and listen inwardly until we can hear our own peaceful nature. When we hear our own inner peace, we will hear the peaceful nature of others as well. Wisdom comes from listening. Peace is like water flowing everywhere. Peacemaking is the proper response to violence. Nonviolence brings peace, and peace is the highest happiness. All proceeds from the mind. All we are arises from the mind. With the mind, we create the world. disorder, and confusion in the world follows disorder and confusion in the individual mind. Only with a change of within will there be a change without, even if it is slow in following. It will never fail to arrive. Our mind generates thoughts, speech, and actions. When we have a peaceful mind, we have peaceful words and peaceful actions. Peace will triumph over war when people can walk down the street with peace in their heart and mind. We must develop personal compassion as a gift to share, a gift of peace, a gift of healing for the world. And these actions can take place always in the present. At this very moment, we can all choose to think peaceful thoughts. And my wish for you is that you find enough goodness in others to believe in a world of peace. And that is day 35 of my Sit for Peace Mindfulness Meditation Challenge. Thank you to everyone who is in the world alive today. May you find peace and happiness in your heart and mind. I love you.